I am saying allegedly because until I can physically see with my own eyes.
I'm saying allegedly because I don't know for a fact. I was just told that information. So if you guys are looking for proof, I can't give it to you because I don't have it. He didn't have to climb the roof like Spider-Man. Candace doesn't even know that there's a staircase that led directly up to that walkway, and all he had to do was just hop over that little railing. Candace is not even aware of that. We're into French territory, and she doesn't know that there's a staircase to get to the roof. Is she that worried? Like, is she gonna lose her ass in this defamation suit? Is that what's happening right now? Did we just figure this out, guys? Candace is trying to bait the Macrons into saying something or responding in some way that she might be able to use it to get the defamation case dismissed. What's going on, everybody? I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving break. I hope you all got to spend some incredible time with your family that you only have to see maybe once or twice a year, and you really enjoyed their company. Before we get started, I do have a question I want to ask you, and this is just for my own curiosity. While you guys were getting together with your family and friends on Thanksgiving, did the topic of Charlie Kirk conspiracy come up at all? Was anybody talking about it? I don't think very many people actually believe in this Charlie Kirk conspiracy. And I'm just wondering what your guys' experience is. If it came up at all, if it did come up, were the people that you were talking to aware of a Charlie Kirk conspiracy? I'd just be curious. Let me know down in the comments. Let's go ahead and get into this. So we have the return of Candace after taking a week-long hiatus because, and get this, guys, I heard this from so many people, Candace isn't doing her show this week because she's terrified. She's terrified of the assassination plot. You know what? We're going to use a different word. I'm going to bleep that out, and we're going to say the ass, okay? The ass plot against Candace Owens. She's terrified. That's why she's not doing her show. She's in hiding. She's protecting herself from the ass people. Okay? I heard that so much on Twitter last week. And it's obviously stupid. But let's go ahead and get into this, all right? Let's start watching. I got to be honest, guys. I really have to be honest. This is getting boring. And after her video today, I'm not even sure, like, unless you're just poking at Candace and making fun of her as like part troll, part grift, then I get it. But why anybody would continue to talk about Candace Owens, especially after what I'm about to show you? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? There's nothing else going on in the world that's at least somewhat more captivating than what's Candace Owens gonna say tomorrow. Let's watch.
Get comfortable, you guys, because it is going to be a long week. I have so many explosive revelations to share with you, and now it feels especially urgent, right? Don't you feel a sense of urgency right now in the wake of me having learned that France apparently paid for my assassination and that the French Foreign Legion was apparently involved and on the ground at UVU on the day?
Yes, I definitely feel a sense of urgency, Candace. And that urgency is for you to get the hell on with whatever point it is you're trying to make. With all of these stupid videos. We're almost 3 months removed from this, and we have yet to get anything substantial whatsoever from any of these people. Period. They've come up with nothing. The best they've been able to come up with came from Candace. And that was, hey, here's a tweet that I have from Charlie Kirk during a conversation where he's clearly frustrated and annoyed with a certain people who are threatening to pull funding from him or did pull funding. And look, here's some words he said that he's going to leave the pro certain people cause. That's it. That's all they've had. Which is nothing. It's literally nothing. So because Charlie sent that in a text thread, 2 days later, that group of people who were not even on that anymore. Now we're in like France territory for whatever reason. But initially it was that group of people because of that text message that they did what happened on September 10th. Like that's what we've got.
Of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And we should probably begin there. Foremost, if you were one of the people online who believed for a single second that it was even a remote possibility that I simply made up a French assassination attempt heading into Thanksgiving week. I don't know, for like attention or something. I sat around and I said, I'm just not getting enough attention. How can I start a global conversation about me? And then I came up with this idea of creating fan fiction where I imagined myself as the victim of a multinational state plot to murder me. Yeah, if you thought that for a single second.
So let's just say that she got a tip from some random person and then they sent that to her. And before she could verify that it was true, and before she reported it to certain agencies and law enforcement or whoever, she tweeted about it, I would say, yeah, you were definitely doing it for attention. She even brags about how viral it went.
That it was for funsies because I'm not busy or anything, then you're just not sober. You're not paying attention to anything, and you need to wake up real fast. We're going to move quickly through a lot of things this week because everyone in the world needs to wake up to how things actually work. LOL to the idea
Candace?
Of Western democracy. LOL to the idea that you can win in life and everything's basically you've set the stage for a meritocracy and you can get ahead. No, actually.
How much money is Candace worth? How much is her husband worth? Whoa, who's she talking to? Are you telling me you can't get ahead, Candace? Nobody's doing this to Candace. Candace goes on her show and says all this shit. Her mouth, like if she's burned bridges with people, it's because she's chosen to do that. She's made that decision to burn those bridges. So I don't know what she's talking about who can't get ahead in life. I'm sure not gonna like, are we LARPing now that you're a victim, Candace, and you're down in the pits with the rest of us here? Up in your ivory tower, your multiple mansions. What are we talking about? Who's buying this bullshit? This merit, you can't get ahead in life. Looks like you're doing pretty well, Candace.
As you learn things, you become a target. You become a target to people that operate in the shadows. And that is, I think, what we are all learning in the wake of the last couple of months, especially. Now, going back to November 25th, I obviously tweeted exactly what I was informed. Okay, I'm going to read that tweet to you in its entirety.
Oh,
urgent.
God.
2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking
tweets.
employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information that they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in the National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on the assassination squad and that plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted since this source claims that our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information, which is definitively verifiable, should they care to reach out to me. And to the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you truly. Let all be revealed. Now, I got even more specific, right? I said there was a paper trail that Macron allegedly paid $1.5 million. And I am saying allegedly because until I can physically see with my own eyes.
I'm saying allegedly because I don't know for a fact. I was just told that information. So if you guys are looking for proof, I can't give it to you because I don't have it Yet, if Candace were a threat to power, do you really think they wouldn't deplatform her? You don't think they would have came out with something completely crazy to discredit her with besides herself? You know what I mean? Like, you can't discredit somebody by just going, oh, look, they're crazy. That's not how that works. You have to have some type of example to point to go, see, look, they're crazy. Candace is giving those examples herself. She's not being taken out of context. She's not, you know what I mean? Like, she's not being manipulated, or at least I don't, maybe she's being manipulated. Maybe the people that she trusts are her handlers, and her handlers are doing this to her. That could be. That's definitely possible. But Candace is doing such a good job of discrediting herself with dumb shit like she just said. They don't even need to bother. They can just go, yeah, okay, look at Candace. Here's Candace. Look at Candace. That's all they have to do. What makes you think Candace is crazy? I don't know. Just watch her.
Inside of these accounts and verify the transfer of that payment, it's of course alleged. The amount is alleged. 2 assassins were hired, one Israeli, one French Canadian woman.
Alleged.
Okay, a man and a woman. And I also said that the money ran through the Elite Gentlemen Club des Santé. Again, I was very specific. And I asserted that the French Foreign Legion, which was a legion and a group that I had never heard about prior to this notification, were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay, I don't follow military stuff. So me even mentioning specific gendarmerie, you have to assume that I got this information from somebody. Now, if you are, in fact, currently at this moment, the first man of France, that would be Brigitte Macron, and you are currently suing a podcaster in America named Candace Owens for defamation, for telling the truth, right? And the story that you are trying to sell to the public is that you were really deep down in your heart, you really believe that you are a woman and Candace is just crazy and desperate for clicks and willing to defame you for money. Then Candace Owens publicly proclaiming and accusing you of something directly implicated in her assassination, a claim which has gone viral.
Holy crap. Finally, Candace admits to implicating somebody, even though she's been implicating pretty much everybody this entire time, and then just like bold-faced denying it. Like, well, I never said directly. I never said this. I never said that. Finally, she at least admits that she's implicating somebody. Holy. Finally.
When I say viral, I mean just the tweet alone had over 100,000 retweets and 45 million impressions on X alone, okay? This would be your unique opportunity as the French first man to prove your case about Candace to the public, right? In the court of public opinion. This would be your time to slam dunk. Remember, the French couple has been so psychotically obsessed with trying to paint me as conflicted in my reporting.
Are you guys picking up on this pattern yet that Candace has been doing? Especially the less and less people are talking about it, the more and more this is happening. Candace throws out bait, but it's not the same type of bait that like smart people would throw out. Okay. Generally, if I want to bait you into something, it's because I'm going to bait you into a gotcha, right? Like I know what your response or what one or two of your responses are going to be. And I've already got my counter for those responses. So I'm setting you up, right? I'm baiting you. Candace's bait is different. Candace just needs you to do something. She just wants you to do something. And then she'll go ahead and spin it. Or her little minions will spin it for her. I've seen this multiple times now. And I know that you guys have too. but she just throws it out there. And the less and less people respond to her, the more this is going to start happening. The more aggressive the bait is going to get. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I feel like coming out and talking about some type of ass conspiracy from the French is getting pretty extreme because she's not getting responses from people on other stuff. Right? For the most part, I think TPUSA is probably pretty much done trying to respond to anything Candace says or threatens them with or whatever. So now she's going here. Well, here's the problem, and you're going to see what happens. Even if you don't respond, she can use your non-response as some type of implication. That's how desperate she's gotten. That's how desperate they've all gotten. We're 3 months removed. They have nothing. Nothing. They've provided absolutely nothing. And you know why? Because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. The alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk, as of right now, 3 months removed, probably the most likely. And if you guys have been paying even just a little attention to the case, if you've read the charging documents before we even get to trial, you're aware that they have a pretty good amount of evidence against Tyler Robinson. So what is the point of all of this? What is the purpose of this? Why is this happening before the trial even starts? Why not wait and see what happens with trial before you start concocting all of these crazy conspiracies? Why is this happening before the trial? Because it only can happen before the trial. Because once the trial happens and everybody sees the evidence, it's more than likely we're all going to be pretty convinced that no conspiracy took place. And if there was a conspiracy, it didn't involve any of this crap anybody's talking about. And it probably just more than likely involves a few people close to Tyler Robinson. And that's it. Maybe a little further than that, right? Maybe he was radicalized, something along the lines of Thomas Crooks. Whether or not they'll ever be able to prove that, I don't know. Whether or not they want to prove that, I don't know. But this doesn't have to do with any type of French. She even goes on to say that this dude said that the person who assassed Charlie Kirk was French. He was part of the French group. Like, what? What the f- are we talking about? I almost kind of like it almost kind of is plausible just because of how bad the shot was. But what?
That they even hired a private investigator to try to see if I was colluding with other state actors. You know, they kind of gloriously insinuated that I might be working with Russia. They paid for that. They paid for that investigation. So using that logic, wouldn't this be the opportunity, if you're the French couple, to come out and to prove your point, to make a
she would
stunning
love that.
and a
She
swift
would love
statement,
if they
right?
came out and just
We
started
are
talking
shocked
about her.
by the accusation. Of course, never in a million years. Oh, we told you guys, this is just for clicks. It's for money. This is beyond anything we've ever heard. I hope Candace gets well soon. That would be what I would say you should do if I'm advising you from a PR standpoint, right? In American basketball terms, this is like a flagrant foul, and you now get some free throws, right? If you're the French couple. You're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, investigative fees, and PR fees.
No, they're just going to let you keep digging your hole. What are you talking about, Candace? Why would they even bother wasting a breath? And this sucks because now I feel like I'm in this position where I'm defending the Macrons. Like I could give a shit about the Macrons. But I understand, everybody who has a brain understands why they wouldn't even bother making a statement on this. It would be stupid for them to make a statement on this. If anything, I would just add it into the defamation case. Just slip that right in there. Why would they bother talking about this?
Country on the other side of the Atlantic trying desperately to paint me as a lunatic, and I give you the opportunity to spike the ball to prove that I'm a lunatic, and you don't do it? No, they didn't do it, did they? If you're paying attention.
I'm not even sure that they could. Now that I think about it, if they're currently in defamation process, I don't think they could say anything. Because that, like, if they said something, that might actually risk their defamation. I don't know. I wish I knew more, but I'd be curious. Like, is that what Candace is trying to do here? Is she trying to bait them into saying something to help get her case dismissed? Is that what this is all about? She's just going to push the envelope on crazy to try to bait them into responding in some way that she might be able to get this fucking case thrown out. Is that what this is all about, dude? No way, right? Like that, there's no way. Is she that worried? Like, is she going to lose her ass in this defamation suit? Is that what's happening right now? Did we just figure this out, guys? Candace is trying to bait the Macrons into saying something or responding in some way that she might be able to use it to get the defamation case dismissed. I don't know what else makes sense about this, why she's so worried about them not saying anything. And then she's like doubling down harder, like, oh, you could just come out and this is no way. No way.
And they did not do it. Of course, they send out the people on Twitter who get to come out and say, oh, I think she's crazy. I think she's making it up. They do this. We are always doing this every week. Oh, Trump never called her about Brigitte Macron.
People are definitely not sending out other people on Twitter to call Candace crazy. People are coming to this conclusion all on their own. And not only that, there are some Twitter accounts that have a lot of followers that get a lot of impressions and get a lot of interactions on their posts. So they're making some money doing it too. They don't need somebody to tell them to do this. So this whole like, oh, they're sending people out. I assure you, people are doing this of their own free will. Some just because it's fun. Others because they're making money doing it as well. And I'm sure they're having a good time with it.
Macron, she's making that up for attention. Oh, she's lying. Charlie Kirk never changed his mind about Israel. She's making that up for attention. This is what we do every week, right? We're hamsters on a wheel. And so we're back to that again, right? People saying that I made it up. But what did the French couple do? That's what matters. It's now been a full week since I made that announcement. And here is the official response issued by the Élysée Palace. Nothing.
No shit.
Nothing.
You don't
I want
say.
you to bear in mind that this was front page global news from the United States to Russia. And I publicly challenged.
I think it was front page global news of people making fun of you, Candace. I think most of these articles were making fun of you. I don't think anybody took this serious.
Candace is making everything up crowd.
Except you and your people.
It. Press the White House for a response, right? The White House the ball's very firmly in their court. And a week later, this is the official White House response.
Fuck. So, what? So she wanted her followers to press the White House to get a response about her claims from the White House. Nobody's going to respond to this because it won't do any good to respond to it. If the White House came out and said what they would more than likely say is that there's no credible evidence to any of Candace's claims, Candace can just use that and be like, oh, look, see, they're going to cover mine up too. They're working together. Of course, they're going to tell you that there's no evidence of it. Of course, they're going to tell you that I'm just crazy. She knows they're not going to come out and say, oh, yeah, no, it's definitely credible stuff. And Candace is definitely in danger. And we need to investigate this immediately. And we should probably go to war with France. Like, what? This is just a big game. And she's just trying to bait people into a response so she can use that response for the next show.
So what are we to make of that, you guys?
Nothing.
Did I report it to the White House? Of course I reported it to the White House. Did I report it to the FBI? Of course I reported it to the FBI. Did I report it to our counterterrorism unit? Of course I reported it, because I'm telling you there's a paper trail. Common sense. You think I'm just doing that because I'm assuming you could get a felony for making something up out of thin air like that. You can't just use United States resources to go after somebody in a plot that never existed that you did for clicks on YouTube. So what's the issue here?
Well, you're not using United States resources to go after anybody, though, on a plot, whether it existed or not. You just reported information. That's it. That's all you've done. There have been no resources to go after anybody. And they would first have to verify that what you sent them is correct. I don't know what point she's trying to make there. Just because you got information and the information, give her the benefit of the doubt, feels serious to her, and then you transfer and report that information to authorities, doesn't make what you sent them true, but it also doesn't mean you're making it up either, in which case you haven't committed a crime there. So I don't know what point she's trying to make. Like, I seriously doubt she told somebody to fabricate information for her. I'm sure there's plenty of people in the Candatard sphere that are more than willing to accommodate her with her unknowing. I'm sure there's more than enough people in the Candatard sphere to send her bullshit information.
So what's the issue here? Why is no one coming out and telling you that that's completely baseless, especially the Charlie Kirk assassination? The whole world is invested in that assassination. Wouldn't you want to shut that down? The idea that it was a multinationally planned event?
What do you fucking think the trial is for? What do you think the court proceedings are for? What is she going on about? No, they're not going to come out and be like, well, Candace says there's multiple different countries involved in Charlie's assassination. So we better hop on this and shut this down right now. No, the authorities are putting together a prosecution. They're going to prosecute the suspect in custody. Pretty sure that's what they're focused on. Not focused on what Candace and Candatards are pushing, what kind of conspiracies or what kind of theories and lies and grifts they're coming up with. No, they're not worried about you and what you're saying, Candace. They're worried about prosecuting the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. That's her big thing. Like, oh, well, they didn't say anything, so it might be kind of true. Knowing full well they weren't going to respond to it to begin with. I don't know, guys. I'm like, this is just boring to me now.
Implausible.
I'm not going to even lie. This is just like, what is this? We're so far removed from September 10th on anything they're talking about. Like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Why would France have anything to do with unaliving Charlie Kirk for any reason? If they were going to unalive somebody, why wouldn't they unalive the person who's been attacking them for over a year? They're going to get Charlie first because why? And they're just going to let you keep talking and then in the process of that, file a defamation suit against you? They're going to spend that money to take you to court for defamation when they could clearly just, if according to you, they had somehow something to do with what happened to Charlie, why would they bother with a defamation case against you? Why are you still talking? If that were the case, none of this makes any sense. This is just brain rot junk food for Candatards at this point. There's nothing of substance here. There's nothing that relates in any way, shape, or form to September 10th.
multiple agencies and multiple countries involved from Egypt to Israel. People are saying that's totally crazy. No, it's the lone shooter who had never been on campus, who climbed the roofs like Spider-Man, happened to know where Charlie would be sitting and hit that shot in 4 seconds.
That was a weird edit.
Is it plausible?
Hit the shot in 4 seconds. What the hell is she talking about? How does she know how long he was up there? 4 seconds. Did I miss something, guys? Where'd we get a timeline of 4 seconds for him to take the shot? What did I miss? And he didn't have to climb the roof like Spider-Man. Candace doesn't even know that there's a staircase that led directly up to that walkway, and all he had to do was just hop over that little railing. Candace is not even aware of that. We're into French ass territory, and she doesn't know that there's a staircase leading up to the walkway that to get to the roof. And now she's just making shit up on a 4-second timeline that I don't understand what that pertains to at all. And never been on campus, yet there's video of him. Security cam footage of Tyler Robinson. How do we know that that's Tyler? I think a really big giveaway on the fact that that's Tyler Robinson in that security cam footage is the fact that his parents identified him from those images. When's the last time a conspiracy involved a patsy where they needed the public to identify who the patsy was? That's a pretty big giveaway that Tyler Robinson has been on UVU campus and was on UVU campus that day. Because as far as I know, the only person identified from those photographs, from the security cam footage on UVU, was Tyler Robinson. And he was identified by his parents. And that is, according to the official statement, according to the official narrative that is in the charging documents, which means the prosecution is using that as probable cause evidence to bring charges against. And they will have to prove that, since the burden of proof is on the prosecution. So if they couldn't prove that, I really don't think they would have put that in the charging documents. Candace is now in the fiction entertainment business. She is not a reporter. She is not a journalist. She is not an investigator. She is an entertainment YouTuber. She's not even really a political commentator anymore. And as far as I can tell, she's doing her damnedest to try to get somebody to say something, so she can either use it to continue to try to get them to say more, so she has more to talk about in the next episode, or she's trying to get a certain French people to say something in hopes that she can use it to try to get her case dismissed. Because from everything I'm hearing, it's not sounding too good for Candace Owens in that defamation suit. I think what I'm going to focus on going forward is just sort of rehashing everything that we've gotten as far as Tyler Robinson goes. What's coming up. I think we have a court appearance from Tyler Robinson on December 11th, an in-person one. So I'm looking forward to covering that. And I'm just going to go back through the evidence, and we're just going to do videos going back through everything that I think a lot of people have forgotten about. Because unless Candace comes up with something real and substantial that involves Charlie Kirk, I really don't care what else she has to say anymore. Because this is nothing. This is nothing, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.